Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the special meeting on the Local Control Accountability Plan, or LCAP workshop. I'd like to call this workshop to order with all trustees present except for Trustee Barrera. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now we move on to item 3, which is the Vision 2020 Quality Schools in Every Neighborhood 2017 to 2020 Local Control and Accountability Plan, LCAP overview. Superintendent Martin, would you like to present?
Yes, thank you, President Beiser. On behalf of an entire team who you can see surrounding us in this room today and many others who aren't here as well, I want to welcome everyone to this workshop today and first of all say thank you to the entire staff and team that helped put today's presentation together. You'll be hearing from many of them throughout the course of the day, and this is our opportunity to showcase and talk about the work that we're doing as it relates to the local control funding formula and specifically the local control accountability plan. And for us, this isn't as much a required compliance thing that we need to do. It's a way for us to bring community together, talk about vision and actions and services that help us achieve the outcomes that we've all agreed to and committed to. In our LCAP, we have metrics and we have the way we spend our dollars and the outcomes for our students, but you get to actually see the work in action throughout the course of today. So the way the day is set up is we're going to begin with Goal 1, closing the achievement gap with high expectations for all, and you'll hear the 4 areas that we'll be featuring today, specifically academics, and the areas around high reliability schools, our strategic plans, and student-centered coaching cycles. And then we'll move later in the day after that to Goal 4, positive school environments with climate and culture. And Goal 2 in the afternoon, access to broad and challenging curriculum. Goal 3, quality leadership, teaching and learning. And if you notice the goals, we're not going 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're doing goals 1 and 4 in the morning, and then we'll do goals 2 and 3 in the afternoon, and Goal 5, family and community engagement with highly regarded neighborhood schools. Those 5 goal areas make up how we go about our work in the district. When we say, what does it mean to graduate from our system, we always say our diploma. When you leave San Diego Unified, you have a diploma. That means something. We want students to be ready for a college, career, and community. We want our students to be able to be contributing, participating members of society, and these 5 goal areas allow us to create those conditions across the system. What you're going to hear about today is specifically, the clicker? Yeah. Yes. Here are the 5 goal areas that we'll be going through throughout the day, and they should be familiar to you now as they continue to be the focus of the district, closing the achievement gap with high expectations for all and positive school environment, climate, and culture, focused on first thing this morning. When we talk about academics, you're going to hear a new term today, and we'll bring more life, breathe more life into this term throughout the day, but we talk about it being A squared. And what we mean, Mr. Math teacher, but A squared, the first A stands for academics, and the second is agency. And that highlights and puts a frame around the work that we believe is essential in our district, being academics and broad and challenging curriculum and high quality academic instruction across a system that includes a comprehensive assessment system, a guaranteed viable curriculum, high quality instruction, and effective interventions. The essentials around academics are core to what we're doing, but we also know that student agency, which is connected to voice, is important. And when students leave our system, they not only have achieved and had access to high quality academics and instruction, but they also have a sense of agency, meaning that they understand they can use their education to be agents for change, that they can affect change, whether it's in their family, their school, their community, their city, their state, or their nation, and that students use their education to have a sense of agency and become contributing members of society. And so for us, we constantly balance academics and agency, knowing that both are very important. And so you'll hear more about A squared throughout the day and how we've built systems of support, and the whole LCAP vision for next year is around this concept of academics and agency being the way we do our work. So before we start with the first goal, I'd like our Chief of Staff, Stacy Monreal, to draw some connections to how we've designed and come up with, Going to Marty next. We're going to have Marty Stulls tell us who our stakeholders are that have been involved in developing this LCAP.
As you can see, it's our usual alphabet soup of stakeholders. I won't read all their names, but what I'd like to do is go to the next slide and talk a little bit about the engagement cycle. We start our LCAP engagement in September when we do our Quality Schools in Every Neighborhood Awards. Those are the schools that we recognize for outstanding work in our LCAP goals for the previous year. After our CUSIN Awards, we start our LCAP and budget cycle by providing input opportunities to stakeholders in October and November. Site governance teams and school site councils are asked to review the current year LCAP and respond to the actions and services to see what they would like enhanced actions and services they believe are least valuable and actions and services they would like to see added for the following year. Each of these recommendations is to be rooted in accomplishing the site's and district's goals and vision through an equity lens. The surveys were provided in multiple languages this year, as always, and we do have translation and interpretation services where needed. Respondents are asked to indicate which LCAP budgeted actions and surveys they feel comfortable with eliminating or reducing if there is a deficit going into the next year, and which actions and services they feel are most valuable and should be continued. And you will see some of the results from our LCAP and budget surveys reflected in our document as we go forward. 4 principal forums were held in addressing the 18-19 deficit, and those were in October and November. We asked our principal participants to respond to 4 critical questions, and that information was also used to inform budget and LCAP decisions. The finance team provided information on the budget and LCAP process to all 16 clusters in October and November. The presentations included the budget timeline, the projected 18-19 shortfall, factors that may result in changing financial projections, such as state funding and enrollment, how to access the budget survey and help the district identify solutions and priorities, and how to participate in the LCAP survey through SSCs and SGTs. The LCAP infographic was reviewed and explained, and time was allotted for questions and answers. The early draft of the 18-19 LCAP, the drafty draft, as some people know it, was made available in mid-May. A survey instrument is provided as well for input on the early draft. It was made available to the public through our LCAP website and also directly to our bargaining units, the DAC and the DLAC. LCAP implementation reports are provided to the board and the public throughout the year, and they're always posted on the LCAP webpage. Public testimony is always encouraged and included in these presentations. We start in October, and we presented 7 times through between October and May. And today, this full-day workshop presents the draft 18-19 user-friendly LCAP to the board members and to the public. Today's presentation also includes a few of our CUSIN nominees for the current year, so you'll be hearing from them, and then they'll be awarded in September. The first reading of the full document is June 19th, and the final reading and adoption is June 26th. All opportunities for stakeholders to engage, provide feedback, and let us know what they think as we develop the document throughout the year.
As we reviewed the input that we had received this year, we had asked many of the stakeholders to review the LCAP and to give us feedback on what was working, what did they value, and things that they thought we needed to pay more attention to, prioritize, or expand. And so some of the areas of validation of what we've been working on are leadership development, building capacity of teachers and leaders, restorative justice practices, using formative assessment and not necessarily focusing on high-stakes assessment, counseling, nursing, and behavior support, class size reduction, visual and performing arts, support for English learners, enrichment opportunities, technology in all of our schools, safe and secure schools, and quality Tier 1 instruction. So those are patterns that we saw across all input. The areas that they felt merited more focus, more priority or expansion was in the areas of intervention support, a belief that there needs to be a greater emphasis on mathematics, as it is a gatekeeper, and we know that we have a lot of work to do in that area. There is also a desire to ensure that there's strong cluster-wide vertical articulation so that students from 5th grade to 6th grade and 8th grade to 9th grade have a seamless experience. Universal assessments so that we know how our students are doing at any given time and we know how to build a plan for them. There is a need for more behavioral supports, more partnerships. Overwhelmingly, we saw an area of need that many stakeholders are believing that we need more attention on, and that's mental health and social emotional learning, and also more access to STEAM and maker spaces. So today, you will see that we are taking that feedback and we are expanding and prioritizing our actions and services based on the input we received from parents, teachers, administrators, and staff. As the team presents today, you will hear, as Superintendent Martin talked about earlier, our approach that we are taking to multiple tier systems of support called A squared. This approach is going to ensure that each and every learner has their needs met. They receive a guaranteed Bible curriculum, high quality instruction with a focus on academic excellence, social emotional learning, behavior supports, and schools are equipped to provide responsive intervention. We are deepening our work around student-centered coaching designed to accelerate learning for our English learners, African American students, and our students with disabilities, at the same time developing teacher and student efficacy. We know that these are subgroups in our district that we have to pay close attention to and provide greater levels of support. In our area of parents, teachers, and administrators, they've all identified that students need more support in social emotional learning, mental health, and behavior support. So you will hear in our work in Goal 4 that we've taken that input seriously and have identified our strategies for developing student agency and promoting cultures of collective care. You will see a major expansion in our work in the area of STEAM with a strong focus on providing greater access and success to students in the area of mathematics, all implemented with robust partnership support. You will hear that we are getting closer to implementing our collaboratively developed professional growth and development system, which will be a major departure from our current evaluation system. And we are continuing the great work that was developed last year in the area of family engagement. We are deepening our work with high impact strategies, parent-teacher, home visits, and parent leadership pipeline. So if you look at and see what the needs were that were identified in the LCAP, you will hear today that the work we have planned for next year is in alignment with what those needs are. Thank you.
So as you can hear, as we develop the LCAP, it's based on broad and deep stakeholder engagement, and all the goals, actions, programs, and services are based on that feedback cycle that was created throughout this year, not just one session or one check the box. It was deep engagement, and we were able to develop our goals, programs, actions, services from that viewpoint. So as we move into LCAP Goal 1, this is probably has always been the most robust and comprehensive. All the goals are important, but we start with the Goal 1, which is closing the achievement gap with high expectations for all. And I think it's most appropriate to start that goal with looking at QSIN. By the way, we have lots of acronyms, I know, in education. QSIN stands for Quality Schools in Every Neighborhood. Our goal, the board's vision, has been very clear. Vision 2020 has as its hallmark been that every child should be able to go to their neighborhood school and have a high-quality education, and we've defined quality schools in every neighborhood, and we highlight and feature schools that are models of different goal areas. So closing the achievement gap with high expectations for all. We have Bernie Elementary and their principal, Amanda Hammond-Williams, with us this morning to present on an example and an exemplar and benchmark for what it looks like in action. So we're happy to have you join us here as a principal, and the leadership that you've shown at your school and the work on closing the achievement gap for high expectations for all. You can help bring that to life for our community to see.